Sophia Harper used to be a talented interior designer, a rising star whose work had once graced New York's most prestigious galleries. But all of that was left behind when she decided to marry Ethan Harper, an ambitious marketing executive. Out of love and dedication, Sophia gave up her career to become a full-time mom, taking care of their two young children, Lily, 8, and Max, 6. However, after 10 years of marriage, Sophia realized her sacrifices were no longer valued. Ethan, now a successful professional, no longer looked at her with admiration. Instead, his words were often sharp and dismissive, leaving little room for appreciation. That morning, the family gathered around the breakfast table, but the tension in the air was unmistakable. Sophia, wearing an old sweater stained with paint from her days as an artist, was pouring coffee when Ethan spoke. "Can't you put in a little effort for once? You used to care about how you looked. Have you even looked in the mirror today?" His tone dripped with disdain as his eyes lingered on her oversized sweater and faded jeans, making her feel as though she didn't belong in her own home. Sophia froze, the coffee pot still in her hand. After more than a decade of marriage, she thought she'd grown used to Ethan's cold remarks, but somehow, his words still stung. "I was working in the garage," she replied softly. "You know, the garage you turned into your home office? That used to be my art studio." "Art studio?" Ethan scoffed, adjusting his tie in the reflection of the kitchen window. "Let's be honest, Sophia, it was a dusty storage room. You haven't used it in years." At the breakfast table, Lily and Max sat quietly, pushing cereal around in their bowls. Though young, they had become experts at sensing the unspoken tension between their parents. Sophia steadied herself, her voice shaking slightly. "I gave up my career to support yours, to raise our family. Isn't that what you wanted?" "What I want," Ethan said, his voice clipped, "is a wife who actually looks like she belongs next to a successful marketing executive. Look at yourself. You're not that person anymore." His words sliced through her like a knife. Sophia stood still, staring at the coffee in front of her, while Ethan grabbed his briefcase and travel mug. Without another word, Ethan left, the sound of his car fading as he drove away. Sophia exhaled deeply, glancing at Lily and Max. "Okay, troops," she said, forcing a smile. "Who wants to help me pack lunches?" Ethan's late nights became a pattern. He always had excuses, client dinners, project deadlines, or impromptu meetings. But Sophia couldn't ignore the growing distance between them. She began to notice the little things, the faint smell of unfamiliar perfume on his jacket, the sudden appearance of a new cologne, and his reluctance to share details about his day. One evening, as Sophia was helping Lily rehearse for her school play, Max ran into the living room, holding a drawing he made at school. "Daddy, are you coming to my baseball game tomorrow?" Max asked hopefully, holding up his drawing of a baseball field. Ethan glanced up briefly from his phone. "Sorry, buddy. I have a big presentation coming up. Next time, okay?" The disappointment on Max's face was hard to miss, but Ethan didn't seem to notice. He patted Max's head absent-mindedly and returned to his phone. Sophia watched the exchange in silence, her heart sinking. Later that night, Ethan's phone buzzed on the kitchen counter as he was upstairs. Sophia glanced at the screen, her curiosity getting the better of her. A text notification popped up. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Don't forget your tux. You looked amazing last time. Olivia." Her hands trembled. She'd suspected for weeks that Ethan was seeing someone else, but seeing the evidence confirmed her worst fears. She put the phone down quickly as if it burned her fingers and tried to steady her breathing. When Ethan came downstairs, she asked, her voice quiet but firm, "Who's Olivia?" Ethan froze, his hand halfway to the coffee pot. "She's a coworker. Why?" "She seems close," Sophia replied, crossing her arms. "She reminded you about your tuxedo, Ethan." His expression shifted, defensive, almost angry. "She's just helping me with the Morrison project. Don't start imagining things, Sophia." Sophia wanted to press further, but the exhaustion of years of feeling unseen and unappreciated stopped her. Instead, she simply nodded, though the knot in her chest tightened. That weekend, Ethan left early for what he claimed was another work event. Sophia stood by the door, holding Lily's hand as she caught a whiff of the same unfamiliar perfume clinging to his jacket. Watching him drive away, she realized something she'd been avoiding. She wasn't just losing her marriage, she was losing herself. That night, after Ethan left for yet another work event, Sophia wandered aimlessly through the house, feeling the weight of her doubts and insecurities pressing down on her. As she passed the garage door, something made her stop. She hesitated for a moment, then opened the door. The garage was cluttered with boxes, tools, and old furniture, but in one corner, beneath layers of dust and forgotten memories, she spotted an old wooden box. Sophia knelt down and opened it, her breath catching as she pulled out her sketchbooks, charcoal pencils, and rolls of fabric, each item a reminder of the vibrant, passionate life she had left behind. Her hands trembled as she held the sketchbook, tears welling in her eyes as the memories flooded back. Memories came rushing back, the late nights working on designs, the thrill of finishing a new piece, and the pride of seeing her work displayed in galleries. Her fingers traced the cover of the sketchbook, trembling slightly. She flipped it open to a blank page and held the pencil in her hand, feeling its familiar weight. It had been years since she had drawn anything, but as the pencil touched the paper, the lines came naturally. For the first time in what felt like forever, she felt alive. The next morning, Sophia called her best friend, Clara Morgan. Clara was a successful stylist who had always believed in Sophia's talent. "Clara, I need your help," Sophia said, her voice steady but vulnerable. "Of course, Soph," Clara replied without hesitation. "What's going on?" Sophia explained everything: Ethan's behavior, her doubts about their marriage, and how she felt like she had lost herself over the years. "That's it," Clara said firmly. "We're bringing the old Sophia back. Meet me at the salon tomorrow." The following day, Clara worked her magic. She trimmed Sophia's hair into elegant layers, added subtle highlights to bring out her hazel eyes, and styled her in a way that made her look polished, yet true to herself. "Look at you," Clara said, spinning Sophia around to face the mirror. "That's the Sophia Harper I remember." Sophia smiled, though it was tinged with hesitation. "It's been so long, Clara, I don't even know where to start." "You start by remembering who you are," Clara said. "And don't worry, we'll make sure everyone else remembers too." As Sophia left the salon, she felt lighter, as if a piece of herself had returned. That night, she stayed up late sketching, rediscovering the joy of creation. Her hands were steady, her ideas flowing freely. The first thing she drew was a woman stepping out of the shadows, her face set with determination. A week later, Sophia stood in front of the mirror in her bedroom, wearing the emerald green dress Clara had chosen for her. The fabric hugged her figure perfectly, elegant yet bold, and the color brought out the hazel in her eyes. For the first time in years, she felt beautiful, not because of anyone else's approval, but because she was starting to see her own worth. "It's just a dress," she whispered to herself, though her reflection told a different story. It wasn't just the dress, it was the confidence that came with finally reclaiming her identity. That evening, Sophia arrived at the Morrison Foundation Gala, where Ethan and Olivia were sure to be. The grand ballroom sparkled with chandeliers, and the air buzzed with the chatter of New York's business elite. Sophia stepped in, her heels clicking against the marble floor, and within moments, the room fell silent. Guests turned to look at her, some in admiration, others in surprise. Even Ethan, standing near the bar with Olivia, froze mid-conversation. His eyes widened as he took in her appearance. "Sophia?" he murmured under his breath, but she didn't notice. Instead, she strode confidently into the crowd, where Mr. Caldwell, the CEO of Ethan's company, spotted her and approached with a warm smile. "Mrs. Harper," he greeted, shaking her hand. "It's been years since I've seen work like yours. I still have one of your pieces in my office, Rising Horizons, truly remarkable." Sophia blinked, surprised. "You know my work?" "Of course," Mr. Caldwell said, gesturing toward a group of clients nearby. "You're an artist of rare vision. Are you still creating?" Sophia hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "Yes, I've recently started again." "Wonderful news," he beamed. "We're always looking to integrate meaningful art into our projects. I'd love to discuss a collaboration with you." Meanwhile, across the room, Olivia's expression soured. She grabbed Ethan's arm. "What is she doing here?" I don't know," Ethan stammered, his confidence faltering as he watched Sophia effortlessly navigate the room, her laughter ringing out as she charmed the other guests. "I thought you said she wasn't coming," Olivia hissed. "She wasn't supposed to," Ethan muttered, his gaze locked on Sophia as she conversed with Mr. Caldwell. Unable to contain her frustration, Olivia marched toward them, pulling Ethan along. "Sophia," she said, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. "How unexpected to see you here." Sophia turned to face them, her smile calm but cutting, her eyes holding a strength Ethan hadn't seen in years. "Olivia, Ethan, it's so enlightening to see you both here." Olivia's eyes darted toward Mr. Caldwell, clearly hoping to salvage the moment. "Mr. Caldwell, you remember Ethan, don't you? He's been instrumental in the Morrison project." "Yes," Mr. Caldwell replied evenly, his expression unreadable. "And now I see where the true inspiration lies." He turned back to Sophia. "I'll be in touch about our proposal. It's an honor to see your talent returning to the spotlight." Olivia's face flushed red. Ethan shifted uncomfortably, tugging at his collar. As Mr. Caldwell walked away, Sophia looked at Ethan, her voice steady. "You always underestimated me, Ethan, but I've realized I never needed your approval to shine. I've always been capable of doing that on my own." "Sophia, this isn't what it looks like," Ethan began, but she raised a hand to stop him. "It's exactly what it looks like," she said softly. "And it's over, Ethan." Without waiting for a response, Sophia turned and walked away, her confidence radiating. The whispers in the room shifted, no longer about Ethan and Olivia's rumored affair, but about Sophia Harper's remarkable return. The night of the gala marked a turning point for Sophia. For the first time in years, she didn't feel invisible. Instead, she felt seen, not just by others, but by herself. 2 weeks later, Sophia packed up her things and moved into a cozy apartment closer to Lily and Max's school. The house she had once called home now felt like a hollow shell, filled with memories of a marriage that had long since fallen apart. Ethan offered little resistance when she told him she was leaving. He looked at her, a mix of regret and disbelief, but Sophia didn't waver. The new apartment had 3 bedrooms, one of which Sophia turned into an art studio. On the first night, she brought out the easels, brushes, and canvases, setting them up in the dining room. "This is for all of us," Sophia told Lily and Max, her voice steady but warm. "We can paint together whenever we want." The children's eyes lit up with excitement. Lily immediately claimed one of the easels, while Max started arranging paints by color. "Can we paint my room next?" Max asked, his face glowing with enthusiasm. "Of course," Sophia replied, smiling. In the days that followed, Sophia began to rebuild her life. She spent mornings working on her art and afternoons helping Lily and Max with their homework. Every evening, they painted together, splashing colors across fresh canvases. The apartment, though small, was filled with laughter, creativity, and a sense of peace that had been missing for years. Meanwhile, Ethan's life was unraveling. After the gala, Mr. Caldwell reassigned him to a lower position in the company, citing poor judgment in both his professional and personal conduct. The prestige and power Ethan had clung to were stripped away, leaving him with nothing but the echo of his mistakes. Though Ethan reached out to Sophia several times, asking for a chance to make things right, she stood firm. "It's not about forgiveness, Ethan," she told him during one of their conversations. "It's about moving forward. For me, for the kids, for all of us." Months later, Sophia's work was displayed at a solo art exhibition titled Renaissance. The gallery was packed with admirers, collectors, and art enthusiasts, all marveling at the bold, emotional pieces that told a story of resilience and rebirth. In the front row, Lily and Max sat beaming, proud of their mom. Clara stood beside them, her eyes glistening with tears as she clapped louder than anyone else in the room. Sophia stepped forward to address the crowd, her voice steady and confident. "Art isn't just about beauty," she began, her voice steady and resonant. "It's about truth, about rediscovering yourself when you feel lost and realizing that your strength has been within you all along. These pieces represent my journey, my renaissance, and I hope they inspire others to find their own." Her words resonated deeply with the audience, who broke into thunderous applause. At the back of the room, Ethan stood quietly in the back, the weight of his regret almost too much to bear. Watching Sophia shine, surrounded by admiration and love, he realized she had become everything he had once admired and more. But now, she was someone he could no longer reach, a reality he could never undo. After the exhibition ended, Sophia found a small note left beside one of her paintings, a simple sketch of a woman stepping into the light. The note read, "You were always extraordinary. I'm sorry I forgot that. E." Sophia folded the note carefully and tucked it into her bag. It wasn't forgiveness, but it was closure. As she turned back to her children, who were busy explaining their own artwork to a curious collector, Sophia felt a sense of peace she hadn't felt in years. The life she had rebuilt wasn't perfect, but it was hers.